That first webinar, he generated $22,000 in 5 days. Hey, what's up? This is Jason Drone. Today, we're going to talk about how to increase online sales fast. Now, it's a question we get asked all the time, is how can I sell more very quickly? And oftentimes the answer really it depends on your product. It depends on what it is you're selling. But 90% of the time, the way to increase your online sales fast is to hold a webinar. There's some caveats to that. So first of all, in order to have a webinar and sell quickly, you need to have an email list, or you need to have some sort of a following. That following can be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social channels, the social networks. That could be your following. But on social media, they're very loose followers. They might register for a webinar. They might not register for a webinar. It depends mostly on just, what that relationship is. If you have 200, friends and family, friends from high school, you've been out of high school for 15 years, and your family, chances are it's not going to be a great audience to launch your webinar to. If, however, you have 200 followers who have followed you because they like your blog posts, or they like your posts on Medium, or they like your Quora posts, or whatever, then that's a very different story, because they're actually following you for the reason that you want to hold the webinar, that you want to sell your thing, your product, your service, whatever. The other way is to actually have an email list. We talk a lot on Done For You about email lists, about marketing automation and CRMs and email marketing and text message marketing and all of that other stuff. And there's a reason for that, because email outconverts pretty much everything. You have an email list for years once it's built, or as it's building. You have an email list for a very, very, very long time. You can market whatever you want. You can promote whatever products you want, your own stuff, your affiliate stuff. Your business can take different directions, and your list will follow you because you have that email list, because you have that relationship with your audience. So if you have even a small email list and an offer that you can put a webinar together on, that is the ticket to increasing your sales fast. If you don't have an audience and you don't necessarily have any social network followers, then it's going to be a longer road. But blogging and creating that audience is your best bet. Selling a lot of product, generating a lot of revenue is less about the product, it's less about the offer than it is about distribution. If you have, people, hundreds, thousands of people a day coming to your website, then they will buy stuff from you when you make it available to them. But if you just have offers on a website, then you don't have any traffic coming to, paid or free, organic traffic, then you're not going to be able to sell them. There's nobody to sell. The internet is not one of those things where you build it and they will come, because they won't. You own one website out of the billions that are out there. It's not even like you have foot traffic or people driving by your physical establishment. They just don't know your website exists unless you let them know that your website exists. So your offer is very much the same way. You need to create an event where people want to purchase your thing, and then you want to tell people about that. There was a client who came to us 3 years ago now. He had an email list of 1,100 people. He tried everything with webinars, tried everything you can possibly think of. He, went the high dollar coaching route and everything else. But, so 1,100 people on his email list. He had the same question to me. It was right around Christmas time, and he was like, Jason, how can I make money fast? And I was like, well, what we can do is we can put a webinar together for you. We can run it at the beginning of January, after Christmas, of course. Run it at the beginning of January. We mail for it for 3 or 4 days. And then I'll be on the webinar with you. We'll script it for you. We'll practice a couple times and then go live on the webinar. So he made, it was real close to $0. I mean, he made a little bit of money, but not more than a couple $100 online in the previous 3 years that he tried this. He ran a webinar. We wrote the webinar. It was an offer he already had. And that first webinar, he generated $22,000 in 5 days. So the webinar went live. Then he mailed out our webinar replay sequence, and within 5 days, he generated 22 grand, put it in the bank account, and then the next month, he did the exact same thing. He ran another webinar, did another $22,000 in sales, and he did the same thing for 6 months in a row. And then what we did was we automated all of the webinar promotions, and just started driving paid traffic into the front side, into a lead magnet. And then the rest of it just kind of came out of the marketing automation sequence. So that, my friend, is how to generate sales online fast. Put a webinar together, figure out what it is you want to sell, and then put it in front of an audience and have them sign up. Very first webinar I ever did, I had 4 people who registered for the webinar. Of those 4 people, 3 attended, 2 purchased. It was my first, $1,000 day, off of a webinar that I was stuttering and stammering. It's the first webinar I've ever done. I really kind of hated public speaking, and it was the least perfect webinar you've ever seen in your life, but still made a little bit of money. So, well, it was a lot of money back then. But if you have any questions at all, go to consultingsession.com, fill in the little application, and you can jump on the phone with me. We'll go through and put an action plan together for your business, for your webinar, for your email marketing, whatever. And please like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. We'd love to see you back. So I'll talk to you soon. All right? Thanks.